Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Amazing Civil Engineering Studies. Here we are with a new video.
In this video, we will study plane table surveying, principle of plane table surveying methods, equipment, error, advantage, limitations.
What is plane table surveying? The plane table surveying is the fast method of surveying. In this type of surveying, plotting of the plan and field observations can be done simultaneously. In case of plane table surveying, geometrical conditions of site are manuscript in the map sheet using plane table and Eye Dot. After that, topographic details are arranged on the map. Principle of plane table survey. The law of plane tabling is parallelism, meaning the rays drawn from stations to items on the paper are parallel to the lines in the stations to the objects on the ground. The relative positions of these objects on the ground are represented with their own plotted positions about the paper and lie on the respective rays. The table is always placed at each of the successive stations parallel into the position it occupied in the starting station. Plane tabling is a graphical way of surveying. The field work and plotting are done simultaneously, and the survey doesn't involve using a field book, measurement book. Plane table survey is mainly acceptable for filling in site details when traversing is done with the theodolite. Sometimes traversing with a plane table might also be done. However, this survey is recommended for the work where great accuracy isn't required. As the fixing and fitting arrangement of this instrument is not perfect, most accurate work cannot be expected. The simplest and the most commonly used plane table is as shown in as per below figure. It is known as a traverse table. It consists of a board made up of a well-seasoned wood-mounted light tripod with suitable mounting and clamping devices. The board can rotate about a vertical axis and can be clamped in any position. The table is to be leveled by adjusting the tripod. General equipment used for conducting plane table survey are: plane table, Eye Dot for sighting, telescopic or simple, plumb bob and plumb fork, compass, spirit level, chain, ranging rods, tripod, drawing sheet and drawing tools, paper clips or screws. Few of them are discussed below. Eye Dot or 8 rule. An Eye Dot is a straight edge ruler using some form of sighting device. One advantage of this ruler is a beveled edge that is also known as the fiducial edge. This advantage is graduated and used for drawing no line of sights. Based on the type of line of sight provided, there are two types of Eye Dot: plain Eye Dot, telescopic Eye Dot. In the case of the plain Eye Dot, a sight vane at each end of the ruler is provided, as shown in as per below figure ref. As per above figure also. Among that sight, vanes are provided with a narrow slit, and it serves as eye vane. Another sight vane known as thin vane is wider, and it carries horsehair or a thin wire in its center. The two vanes are provided with hinges in their base so they may be folded on the ruler if not in use. Telescopic Eye Dot. A telescopic Eye Dot is made up of a telescope mounted on a column that's fixed into the ruler. The size of this ruler is 380 millimeters long and 65 millimeters wide. The line of sight by means of a telescope is kept parallel to the fiducial edge of this ruler. The telescope is supplied with a level tube along with also a vertical graduation arcade. When inclined sights have taken a vertical angle of sight could be measured. The telescope Eye Dot is usually fitted using a stadia diaphragm and therefore may be used as a tachometer to come across horizontal distances and elevations. By providing telescope that the accuracy and the range of sight are increased. As per below. Telescopic Eye Dot. Plumb bob and plumbing fork. Plumbing fork is a U-shaped metal frame with an upper horizontal arm and a lower inclined arm as shown in as per below figure. The upper arm is provided with a pointer, whereas the lower arm is provided with a hook. When the plumbing fork is kept on a plane table along with the plumb bob is suspended by the hook, then the plumb line moves through the end of the pointer in the upper arm. At the start of the plane table survey, plumb bob helps in moving the ground station to the drawing sheet, and later on, it assists in transferring station positions on drawing sheets. Spirit level. A spirit level with a flat base is utilized for leveling plane table. To ensure proper leveling, spirit level needs to be used in two positions at right angles to one another, and leveling of the plane table ought to be ensured. Trough compass. Trough compass. A trough compass is made up of an 80 to 150 mm long and 30 mm wide box carrying out a freely suspended magnetic needle in its center. At the top of the box is provided with a glass cover. In the ends of the needle, graduations are marked out of 0 to 5 degrees on each side of the center. When the needle ends to coincide with 0, the line of needle ends is parallel to the long edge of the box. Hence, a marking on either side of a long edge indicates the north direction of the survey. Thus, the trough compass is useful for marking the drawing sheet and accessories for drawing. The drawing paper of superior quality ought to be used in a plane table survey. It ought to be well seasoned before use by exposing it alternatively to warm and moist atmosphere. By seasoning, shrinkage of sheets in the future is reduced considerably. The sheet ought to be in a position to withstand rubbing against Eye Dot. The drawing sheet shouldn't be folded. Many times two sheets attach using their grains at right angles to one another and using a sheet of muslin between. For works of importance, fiberglass sheets or paper backed with thin aluminum sheets are utilized. Clips, clamps and adhesive tapes chain might be used for fixing drawing sheet into the table. Sharp hard pencil 4H, good quality eraser, pencil cutter and sandpaper to keep pencil point sharp are other accessories needed for drawing work. A waterproof cover such as plastic sheet ought to be carried from the surveyor, to protect drawing sheet out of the rain, if required. Once fixing the table into the stand and drawing sheet into the following operations are to be carried out. Centering, leveling, orientation. Centering here is the process of adjusting the position of a point on the plane table exactly over its position on the ground station. This can be achieved using plumbing fork and moving legs of a tripod. Leveling spirit level is used to check the level of the table. The level ought to be ensured in two positions of spirit level that are at right angles to one another. The legs of the tripod are moved radially or along the circumference to correct the level of the table. Orientation is the process of placing a plane table in a station such that all the lines plotted are parallel to corresponding lines on the ground. This is a very important process in plane tabling. Accuracy of plane table survey mainly depends on how correctly at each station perfect orientation is achieved. It may be achieved by any one of the following methods. Using trough compass. By backsighting. By solving 2-point or 3-point problems. After the survey work starts from the first station, the table is oriented in appropriate direction, and the north direction is marked near the right-hand top corner utilizing trough compass. This orientation is to be kept at all subsequent stations. To acquire exactly the same orientation, trough compass is placed along the north direction marked, and the table is rotated until the compass needle is along with 00 readings. Then it's clamped. Therefore, the necessary orientation of this table is obtained. This procedure of orientation is considered rough since the local attraction to compass can impact proper orientation. This way is used as a preliminary orientation, and finer orientation is obtained from other methods. The plane table can be oriented by compass under the following conditions. Wind speed is more important than accuracy. When there is no second point available for orientation. When the traverse is so long that accumulated errors in carrying the azimuth forward might be greater than the orientation of the compass. For approximate orientation prior to final adjustment. Orientation in plane table surveying can be done precisely by sighting the points already plotted on the sheet. It's a commonly employed way. Two cases may arise. When it is possible to set the plane table on the point already plotted on the sheet by way of observation from the previous section. When it is not possible to set the plane table on the point. To orient the table at the next station, say B, represented on the paper by a point B plotted by means of line A drawn from previous section A, and the table is turned about its vertical axis in such a way that the line of sight passes through the ground station A. When this is achieved, the plotted line A will be coinciding with the ground line A provided the centering is perfect and the table will be oriented. The table then is clamped in the positions. This method is equivalent to that employed in azimuth traversing with a transit. Greater precision is obtainable. Another way to understand this. Before shifting the table, point and measurement book from station A to station B, line A is attracted from a plotted position of station A, that is, A towards following station B. Distance A is plotted and measured position B off station B is located. Subsequently, plane table is shifted to station B and centered such that point A is exactly over station B, keeping the eye dot along with B station I sighted and clamped. This offers the required orientation. Checks could be applied by sighting already plotted objects from point B. Plane table surveying methods. These 4 methods are available for carrying out a plane table survey as per below. Plane table surveying methods: radiation, intersection, traversing, and resection. The first 2 methods are usually employed for locating the details, whereas another 2 methods are used for testing and locating the positions of plane table stations onto the drawing sheet. Radiation. To fill details of objects near station 0, a plane table is set on station 0, the plotted position 0, approximately over the ground station. Then using Eye Dot pivoted at 0, the rays are drawn in the direction OA, OB. OC with soft pencil as per below figure. Then the distances OA, OB. OC is scaled and measured down to get the plotted positions A, B, C of filled positions A, B. Thus, these items are plotted by first drawing radial lines. This method is acceptable for small areas, and it is convenient if the distances are small. This method has a wider scope if the telescopic eye dot is. Intersection. Within this method, 2 stations are so chosen that all of the other stations to be plotted are observable from these. The line joining both of these stations is called the baseline. The length of the line is measured very accurately. Also, rays are drawn from these stations to the stations to be plotted. The intersection of the line from the 2 stations provides the position of the station to be plotted onto the drawing sheet. From time to time, this way is also termed as graphical triangulation. Procedure. Let A and B be the 2 accessible stations as per below figure, such that A and B can be suitably plotted. C is the station to be plotted by intersection. Place the plane table at A. Set it up. Plot the nanosecond direction. Transfer ground station SN onto the drawing sheet, with the Eye Dot centered at A. Site station B. Draw ray AB and cut AB to a suitable scale. With the Eye Dot at a site, call so and draw ray AC. Shift the table to band. Set it up. Place the Eye Dot at B and site C. Draw ray BC. The intersection of the 2 lines gives the position of station CASC on the plane table. Suitability. This method is very commonly used for plotting details. It is preferred when the distance between the stations is too large, or the stations are inaccessible, or the ground is undulating. The most suitable example is of broken boundaries, which can be very conveniently plotted by this method. Traversing. This method is like a compass or a theodolite traversing. The table is set in each of the stations in succession. A foresight is taken to another station, and the distance is cut into a suitably chosen scale. Procedure. Set up the plane table at the initial station A as per below figure. Transfer ground station as in on the drawing sheet. Draw a ray along the vertical edge with the Eye Dot pivoted against A. Cut the distance AB to the selected scale. Shift and set up the table at B. Orient the plane table. Place the Eye Dot at B and side station C. Draw a ray BC along the Eye Dot and cut the distance B to the selected scale. The procedure is carried out till all the stations are traversed. Suitability. It's most suited if a narrow strip of this terrain is well surveyed, for example, a survey of streets, railways, etc. This method may be used for traversing the open in addition to closed traverses. Resection. Resection is a method of plane table surveying in which location of plane table is unknown and it is determined by sighting it to known points or plotted points. It is also called method of orientation, and it can be conducted by two field conditions as follows. The 3-point problem. The 2-point problem. The 3-point problem. In this condition, 3 points and their positions in the field are known. Plane table is placed at a position from where all the 3 points are visible. So, by sighting those 3 points we can locate the point where equipment is located. Tracing method. Layman method. Analytical methods. Graphical method. Tracing method in plane table surveying. In tracing method, plane table is located at a point from where 3 points are visible. The table is oriented with respect to the plotted lines of those 3 points. Place the tracing paper on the drawing sheet and again sight the 3 points and plot the radiating lines. The tracing paper is then moved above the drawing sheet until the 3 radiating lines pass through. Corresponding points previously plotted on the map. Finally, the position of plane table is marked. Layman method. In this method, plane table is located at a point pan sight the station A, band can plot the rays A, BB, and CC. The rays form small triangle which is called triangle of error. Another point P1 is chosen to reduce the error and sight the point A from P1 similarly to band C, which will give another triangle of error. Repeat this procedure until error becomes 0. Analytical methods. There are many analytical methods are developed in 3-point problem condition. In this method, from Station Pennsylvania, band care cited and note the values of angles and lengths. From these values determine the position of unknown points by using analytical formulae. Graphical method. In graphical method also, angles and lengths are determined and represented on a graph and determines the location of plane table. The 2-point problem. In the 2-point problem, 2 points are cited from other points corresponding to the points given in plane table sheet. Here 2 cases are to be discussed. Case 1. When the points can be occupied by the plane table as shown in figure A and bear the 2 points corresponding to the points A and B. Now, plane table is located at B and oriented by sighting A sight from B and BX is plotted on the sheet. Then shift the plane table to C, oriented by backsighting B along XB. Then L dot is placed over A and sight station A. Then line A cuts the line BX at somewhere which is located as point cat station C. In this case, an auxiliary point is considered nearer to C. Look at the plane table at according to the line AB parallel to AB. Then sight the station A and B corresponding to A and B. The rays drawn are intersected at some point which is marked as D. Then sight towards B placing L dot at D. Mark the distance DC as C1. Shift the table to back-cited with reference to C1. Then cite a corresponding to A. The ray drawn as intersects the previously drawn ray from D and C2. From C2 cite draw a ray which intersects DB and mark the intersection as B1. The table is oriented till A comes in line with P from side and draw rays A and B. The intersection of these two rays will give the location of point C. The possible error in plane table survey may be ground into instrumental errors, personal errors, instrumental errors. This type of errors are listed below. The surface of plane table not absolutely plane. Fiducial edge of L dot not straight. Sight veins of L dot not vertical to the base. Plane table clamp being loose. Sluggish magnetic compass. Sluggish or defective bubble tube. Drawing sheet being of poor quality. Personal errors. Centering errors. Leveling errors. Orientation errors. Errors due to the instability of tripod. Sighting errors. Plotting errors. To avoid personal errors, set tripod on firm ground. Do not apply undue pressure on table. Use sharp-edged pencil. Require all of the care to draw rays correctly. Advantages and limitations of plane table survey. Advantages. There's no possibility of omitting measurements. The surveyor may compare the plotted work and the area itself. Irregular objects are represented more accurately since they are seen while plotting. Possibilities of booking errors are eliminated. Local attractions will not influence the plotting. Hence, suitable for the magnetic area like cities. No great skill must produce a decent map. Less costly than theodolite survey. A method is fast. Limitations. Reproduction of map into a different scale is tough. A survey cannot be conducted in wet weather and rainy days. The plane table is heavy, cumbersome, and difficult to carry. It needs several accessories. It is less accurate.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon.